As you all know, even the greatest length of a ride, wherever you want to go, starts with the first step. We are here now to witness the first small step taking on an everlasting journey. An everlasting journey to fight the biggest vice in Africa, corruption. We believe in Child Africa that we don't have the money, we don't have the time, we don't have the knowledge to fight corruption as it is today. That is something that all the big organizations and countries of the world will help Africa with. As Child Africa, we, however, believe there is another way, a better way, a more sure way to eradicate corruption in the years to come. As the Chinese says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. However, the second best is today. And we are starting a journey today on fighting corruption through the children. Child Africa have for over 4 years actually published a magazine called Bingwa. As you know, in Swahili, Bingwa means champion. And in this magazine, it's a free magazine that we have distributed to over 5,000 schools in Kenya and the same in Uganda. What we are doing here is to build the character of the children and teach them really how to become champions. Now, as you can see from this magazine, on the heading here is written, the magazine for the children of Africa. That has been so for more than 4 years. This is the 5th year we are producing the magazine, giving it free to school children, and we have decided to take on a much bigger journey than just educated children building a character. We want to turn them into a focused champion of integrity. So we have changed now from the brochure that you all have gotten here. The heading is now fighting corruption by building integrity in African children. That is our goal. That is the goal, that is the focus we're going to have in our magazine from now on. This magazine has been printed 10,000 copies 3 times a year for every school terms and distributed free. This year we are publishing 50,000 copies, 10,000 to each country. We have picked 5 countries, and Kenya, Uganda will be one of them, then South Africa will be one, and probably Tanzania and Rwanda, but that will be yet to be determined. The 50,000 copies minimum will be distributed out, and this time it will focus on corruption via the way that children understands it. We are not going to talk about the corruption as it is today. As you can see from this brochure, if you can see it, it is the picture here or a photo here of Africa, the map of Africa, and the treasure chest is sort of telling all the good things that is in Africa today, all the values in Africa today. And you see here a big monster, and children, they can easily find what a monster is. They know that is bad. And this monster is trying to grab Africa's richness. But who is going to fight that monster? Starting from today and for the rest of my life and many others' lives, that will be the Bingwas, their children. We believe that the only way to eradicate corruption in Africa is through the children. They are pure at heart and they are strong-minded, and when we install integrity in the children from being small, they will always remain with that as growing old. In fact, I can quote Proverbs 22:6, which says, whatever you install in the children when they are small will remain with them when they are old. So that is a fact. We have some facts on that issue already there. We believe that fighting corruption is going to be the biggest thing in Africa. It's the most costly problem in Africa, and it's also like a cancer from within. Africa as a continent will never be able to raise above anything unless corruption is curbed and fought. We believe that we can get a lot of big organizations, big companies around the world to help us in this fight. We have already talked to the governments of Uganda and Kenya on we have a Minister of Integrity in Uganda who supports us. We have the Minister of Education in Kenya here. The Integrity Center is behind us. We are working on getting partnership with Save the Children and other bigger organizations in order to fight corruption big time. This is a small start, a small step. We hope in the right direction, and we believe that this is the only way to fight corruption. Whatever other ways there are needs that kind of knowledge and money that we don't have. But Child Africa have the time, the money, and the preservation to stay on to fight through the children. We're starting with 5 countries this year, and next year we hope to increase it to 10 or 15 countries, and then go on until we are in all the countries in Africa. We are also building now a huge Bingwa school portal. That school portal is for all the schools in Africa to link up so they can get training courses for children free of charge, so they can train their children and become champions of Bingwa. That means people, small kids coming up, growing up with integrity in heart, mind and soul. And we believe that from that start, when they are small, they will remain like that. And when these kids are growing up, they will be the bosses in companies, they will be the bosses in newspaper, they will be the bosses in media, they will also be probably the ministers and the presidents of the countries in the years to come. I hope I will live to see the time that one African president stands up and is elected and say proudly, I am a Bingwa president, just because he learned it from his childhood. That is my goal for my life, and I will pursue this until I die, and I hope that I can get a lot of people, organizations, businesses, and great interest that can support us in that respect. I have written this book some years ago. In fact, it was launched here in Kenya by the Vice President, Kalonzo Musyoka, and the Norwegian ambassador. And this is a book, how to put integrity first if you want success in Africa. And, as it says here, eradicate poverty and corruption in the process. So the focus is actually to get success for the children and for anybody. We think the quickest and the best way is through integrity. As you can see here, it symbolizes the map of Africa as a face smiling and looking up on higher powers. Because we believe that in integrity there is higher powers.